Hello everyone, welcome to Adkins Academy. Today we are going to get you all set up so that you can see us, hopefully. And today we are going to learn letters A, B, and C. So we have this young lady here to help us, and her name is somebody. She's our student. I forgot her name, but I think her name is, let's see, she tells us.
Goodness gracious.
She's not going to tell us, but anyway, she's somebody from the 1960s for some reason, and I forgot her name. But we need her because what you need to have for this lesson is a braille cell, and this is an egg carton. That's an example of a braille cell. You need to have your braille cell arranged like I have it here. We have 1, 2, 3 on the left, and then on the right 4, 5, and 6. Okay. It's important that dots 1 and 4 are at the top, 2 and 5 are at the middle, and 3 and 6 are at the bottom. Okay. So you need to have that, and you need to have enough things to represent dots. You need to have at least 6 of them. Okay, now you could use 6 M&Ms. You could use 6 Hershey Kisses. You could use 6 tiny toys as long as they'll fit in the in each slot. Okay, you can use a muffin tin. You could use an egg carton like I'm using, which is just a 6-pack egg carton. You could use anything like that, and you'll need that for all of the remaining lessons that we're about to learn, okay? Now what I'm using are these little magnetic balls, so again you could use marbles. Remember, don't put anything in your mouth that's very tiny, which is a good reason to use food. Now we're going to have to show you the empty cell, so there's another video if you are an adult that teaches the whole Braille code. What it's important for you to know right now is that it is important for the children to be able to feel all over the cell and to use 2 hands. Okay, so I'm going to remember this lady's name here, that Mrs. Beasley, that's who she is, sort of. Anyway, Mrs. Beasley is our student today, okay? So when you're helping kids, you'll want to have them, let's see if we can do this here. Well, let's pretend like Mrs. Beasley is our student, and if she's reading, she might have one hand here, okay, and then you're going to want to kind of guide her to feel so she can find that hand. You see how I'm doing that? Right now I have her down in where dot 5 would be, bringing her up to dot 4 and over to 1 where she's got her hand that she's looking at. Okay, but maybe her hand is down here in the dot 3 position, and sorry, her arms aren't really long enough, but you would have her go 1, 2, 3. And you can do that hand over hand, for example. Notice how I'm kind of holding her wrist here. Of course, she's a doll, so she was harder to show you in that, but I would have her hands and I could move 1, 2, 3 back and forth this way, but very gently, of course. So you can have both of her hands kind of guiding her like this as you're holding her wrist. And then what you want to do is slowly take away that physical stuff, okay? So anyway, so Mrs. Beasley was really here to just help us with that. So we'll place her over here. We're going to learn A, B, and C. And to do A, B, and C, we only need 2 braille dots. So 2 M&Ms or 2 toys or whatever it is that will fit in whatever your container is. And if you don't have a muffin tin or if you don't have an egg carton, you can use 6 cups, for example, or whatever. Just make sure they're arranged like this. Now, I'm going to tell you that A is dot 1, so I'm going to place a dot in. Well, okay. Well, we got to be careful here, okay? Hopefully you can see dot 1 now. Dot 1 is really placed in there. I have to go find that other one later. So dot 1 is an A, okay? So what I want you to do if you're the helper at this point, is to place dot 1 in the A position and then bring the child's hand up to touch it. and then make sure that they touch it and that they move over and that they feel the dot 4 position to its right, and that they feel it again and come down, and that they feel the dot 2 position below it, and then you can even have them go down to feel dot 3, back up to dot 2, and then up to dot 1. Okay? They need to understand that dot 1 is an A, and then after you do that, take your hand away and see if they can find dot 1 all by themselves. Okay? So dot 1 is an A. So if I said, what is A, you would tell me dot 1. Or if I said, what is dot 1, you would tell me an A. Now I want to point this out here. Dot 1 dot is not an A. This here is an apostrophe, and I've taken the ball out of the top left position and I've placed it in the bottom left position. Bottom left is only 1 dot in the cell, yes, but it is not an A, it is an apostrophe. So if we don't put that dot in the correct position, then it doesn't mean maybe what we hoped it would mean. An A, again, is dot 1. We're going to do B now. B is dots 1 and 2, okay? So if I say, what is a B, you should say 1 and 2. Or if I say, what is 1 and 2, you should say B. Again, take your child's hand, place it in 1, place it in 2. And then, see how I'm touching both at the same time? Your little one's hands might not be that long, but if they are, make sure that they understand that, you know, if I feel 1 and 2, and if I go down, 3 is empty. So have them feel 1 and 2. But if you just put their hand here, they're not going to know where these 2 dots are. So it's important to do that. It's also important now that we have B, which is 1 and 2, that what you do is you take a few minutes and you call out. Okay, first remove all the dots. And then what I want you to do is to make an A for me. Okay, so I put my dot up in the top left, dot 1 position, and that's an A. Now take all the dots back out. Now I want you to make a B for me. 1, 2. Okay, so you'll want to practice doing it in that way, especially as you get more letters, so that the child learns to find the different positions, and again, they'll need to use 2 hands. A C is dots 1 and 4, okay? We have the top left dot field and we have the top right dot field, okay? 1 and 4. So now, what we're going to do is this little exercise. Okay, I want you to make an A, dot 1. Now make a B. So I have dots 1 and 2 filled. Now, I want to make a C, and remember to clear it every time, as I sometimes forget to do. So make a C, dot 1 and dot 4, okay? Now I want you to make a B. So first you clear it, and then a B is dot 1 and dot 2, okay? Now I want you to clear it, and I want you to make an A, and A is dot 1, okay? Clear it. Now I want you to make a C, dot 1 and dot 4, okay? And you get the idea, helper. What you want to do is you want to change it around and give them enough practice, and then, you know, maybe you stop and you go and you do some games and play for a while, and then you come back and then you review again with A, B, and C, okay? So we don't want to move any farther yet because we need to practice with A, B, and C, okay? Other ways that you can practice is that you can use Uno cards, and you can say, okay, I want you to show me a B. Now, if they just hold this up, this is a 2, that is incorrect, okay? They must have, for a B, they must have 1 and 2, okay? Now, if you want them to put it like this, because this is a B shape, 1 and 2, that's fine. But if you don't, it depends on, like, this surface that I have here. I'm going to move this for a minute. This surface that I have here, I have room to do that. But if the goal here is for them to give you a 1 and a 2. Now, maybe they can't do that yet. Because they have no vision at all or have light perception. But the reason I'm giving you this idea is because we do have some students who can see Uno cards, but that are still learning Braille because maybe their vision isn't stable and they have a chance they could lose it in the future. Or maybe reading long periods of time causes their eyes to hurt or something. So, but they can still see some, and so at home, right now in this virtual time, you can use different ideas like this to give them practice, okay? And you can tell them, show me B, okay, 1 and 2. Or you can say, show me C, and C is 1 and 4, okay? So you can do little things like that. The other thing that I want to talk about really quick is alphabetic word signs. Now, an alphabetic word sign is when you use a letter of the alphabet and it means a whole word. Okay, so let me use the word can in a sentence for you. Can you please help me? Can starts with the letter C. So in Braille, to use the word can, all we do is use the letter C, which is dots 1 and 4. If we see the letter C in Braille, and I'm going to show you that in our little egg carton here, this is the word can, okay? So the word can is the same thing as the letter C. We don't write C-A-N like we do in print. We just put the letter C. The other alphabetic word sign in what we've learned today is the word but, B-U-T. I would like to go play, but it is time for Braille. Okay, so that's an example of the word but used in a sentence. The word but is just the letter B, okay? Dots 1 and 2. So what you would want to do, and then the other thing that I want to point out to you learners is that the word A and the letter A are identical, okay? A is already a word, so we